Bring in Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso, who's chairman of the Senate Republican Conference. Your reaction to this threat against Justice Kavanaugh? I said as we started off this show, shocking, but hardly a surprise.
Thanks to the police officers for being there, responding so quickly. That man was there, as he stated, apparently, to murder Justice Kavanaugh. And I believe Chuck Schumer bears some responsibility because he has contributed to this atmosphere of directly attacking members by name of the Supreme Court. Remember, talking about abortion, Chuck Schumer went to the steps of the Supreme Court and he called out Kavanaugh by name.
What did he say? You have unleashed the whirlwind?
He said, I'm telling you, Kavanaugh, you will pay the price. You will not know what hit you. And that's a pretty direct threat. And now with the Supreme Court ready to rule on abortion, it was the abortion issue that we're talking about. We have passed a bill in the Senate to provide additional protection for all members of the Supreme Court, all 9 members. Nancy Pelosi and the House has refused to take it up, and it has been there for weeks. It's bipartisan legislation. They should pass that tonight. At
the same time, Senator, that you were doing that in the Senate, you had protest groups who were doxing these conservative Supreme Court justices, publishing their addresses saying, come on, show up in protest. You had the White House not condemning the idea of going to a justice's house to protest, saying, well, if it's peaceful protest, that's fine. And then you had the Department of Justice refusing to enforce U.S. federal law, which prohibits protesting outside of the home of a justice of the Supreme Court.
You got all of it right. They ought to pass that law in the House today, get it to the president, get it signed, and get protection for all 9 members of the Supreme Court.
I want to change subjects since you're on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. So the president invoked the Defense Production Act the other day to ramp up production of solar panels. And I'm wondering, as we face this fuel crisis and gasoline is heading northward of $5 a gallon in many states, headed to 10 in some, is putting our chips, if you will, in the solar basket the right thing to do right now?
This is an administration that is out of touch, tone deaf, and gasoline prices are now approaching $5 a gallon all across the country, and they want to use the Defense Production Act, which is supposed to be used for national security emergencies, to build solar panels. I mean, they're pretending that green energy is a national security emergency. This is an abuse of power by an administration that refuses to go to the real solutions for the high cost of energy, which is more oil and gas produced in America. They are so wedded to these climate extremists that they won't even say the words oil and gas. That's where we ought to be focused on things that matter. You want to use the Defense Production Act for something? How about for pipelines to move the oil and gas, to get it to markets? Work on those sorts of things. More oil and gas exploration. We have the energy here in America. This administration, I think, actually wants high gas prices to force people into electric cars.
Yeah, there are people who used to think that was a conspiracy theory, but it now seems more of a reality. I went up to the control room, jump to call for number 2 here, because Senator Stabenow yesterday drove from Michigan to Washington, D.C. in her brand new electric car, saying, I passed every gas station on the road, didn't have to worry about the price. The Greens want to get us all into electric cars, but we're already looking at warnings about the grid this summer. Mark Thiessen, writing in the Washington Post, said, the United States won't have enough power to get through the summer heat wave, leaving us at risk of widespread power outages. This is a national disgrace. Access to cheap, abundant energy is a hallmark of a free society. Senator, we don't have enough energy, at least in parts of this country, to get us through the heat wave. How are we supposed to go to an electric fleet if we don't have that capacity?
It cannot be done. This is part of the great fantasy of the Democrats. Last week, talking about high energy prices, Pete Buttigieg, Secretary of Transportation, what did he say? What did the Secretary of Energy say? They said, buy an electric car. People in Wyoming can't afford an electric car across the board. They're $55,000 each. But this is the high gas prices that so many Democrats have wanted for years to force people into electric cars. Like I'd say, instead of buying an electric car, if you're in California with the coming blackouts, buy an electric generator. You're going to need it.
Yeah, I read that the average yearly income in the state of Michigan is about $57,000, and the average price of an electric car is about $59,000. So the math doesn't quite add up.
This shows an administration tone deaf, out of touch, disconnected from the American people. They are going to pay a price in November when we take the House, take the Senate, and turn Joe Biden into a half-term president.
Senator Barrasso, always good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You got your